This is locked. Okay, who cares?
I think we're live.
Hey, hey! Sorry about that, y'all. If we're live, hopefully we're live again. We had to switch to the phone. I'm not sure what's going on with the technical difficulties, but man, this is frustrating.
For sure. The problem with when we're like this, I don't think we can see comments. Unfortunately.
Yeah, just be aware the comments disappear real quick, so if we get a whole bunch, we won't be able to read them.
Yeah. All right, so we left off, we were talking about intensifying techniques like your drop sets. There's also like rest pause technique. I really do like rest pause. I think it's like, you add in that maybe 10-20 second rest in there and then you continue your set. So it's basically allows you to continue the set. All right, Aileen says, okay, we're back.
Outstanding. Thanks for hanging in there, Lean. We had to switch to the phone, man. The computer isn't working today for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yes, intensifying techniques I've been killing. Hey, Angel, glad we're back, baby. Lately, the intensifying technique I've been killing is sandwich sets, y'all.
Yeah.
That's pre-exhaust, post-exhaust with isolation movement and compound movement for the meat, if you will. So, for example, leg extension squats and then back to leg extensions. Man, let me tell you something. I've been getting some gains. I've been focusing on sandwich sets for a couple months, and man, it's been working like crazy.
Right.
They're probably my favorite right now.
Yeah, one of my favorite right now is the isometric hold. So what I do, like let's say I'm doing a preacher curl, when I'm in the stretch position, I will actually pause for a 1 second count and hold it and then come back up. So it is super nasty trying to train that way. It actually cuts a lot of your weights down.
Yep.
Like if you try squatting, and you're in the bucket for a whole second, it's like, hey, that's actually challenging.
You're gonna lighten your weight.
For sure. So yeah, there's also partial reps. That's kind of like a advanced tip for you guys. Like once you hit that drop set, go ahead and crank out a couple more partial reps in the lengthened position. That's the important part.
The lengthened position. All these things are just extending your set. If you haven't put two and two together yet, all they're doing is extending your set and making you go longer, more gains, more burn, more time under tension.
Hey, Abe's on.
What's up, Abe? Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, if you watched my top 3 exercises for back, that was like one of the tips, right? It's like, hey, you're short on time, so we're gonna intensify it and lengthen the sets to reach fatigue faster than spending the whole hour at the training session.
Angel says sandwich sets are amazing. My man's a fan too. Yes, I'm telling you, they have been, I'd say the last 2 or 3 months, they've been the focus. And they are working.
I'm all about those game sandwiches, y'all.
Yes, the game sandwiches, get them.
Yeah, and then mind muscle connection is important. You guys are intermediate to advanced, you guys already know this. For the beginners listening out there, like take the time to understand mind muscle connection, and you can do that by really slowing the tempo down and taking your time and shifting your focus internally at what you're actually doing. Makes a big difference.
Yes, can you read that name? And yes, you want to lift the weight with your specific muscle. So if you're training chest, you want to lift the bench press with your chest, not your shoulders, not your triceps, with your chest. And the best way to do that is mind to muscle connection and make your chest work.
Absolutely. It's HCT for real.
All right.
Says, hey, man.
Hey.
Says, I'm trying to lose weight. Do you have any tips?
We got a
lot of tips. There's entire live videos in our live video playlist related to that. But first things first, I would ask you, do you know how much food you are consuming? And if not, that would be step 1, is figuring out how much food you're consuming.
I mean, there's so many questions here. Are you working out now? Have you been working out? Are you consistent? What are you eating? Have you been eating? Are you tracking your calories? There's a whole lot of questions to go along with that one, brother.
For sure.
If you're not doing anything and you're on the couch, the best recommendation is get to the gym and get consistent. That's number 1.
Yeah. All right. And then volume management, right? Like sometimes you can add a little more volume for that lagging body part. But the key here is not to add junk volume in there. I think a lot of, I would say prior to like 2022 probably, I would say I did a lot of junk volume. I felt like I was, making gains, doing whatever, but really it was just junk volume and just made me feel good that I was there forever. But there would be times me and James would be like, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Like, why are we still here? So we had to get a little bit more strategic with the training there.
All right, he says, what's the name again?
HCT for real.
All right. I usually eat fruits and I have apps to help me track what I'm eating. Good for your apps. Fruits aren't the best, brother. They're full of carbs and fructose. A lot of people think they're doing good eating fruits, and they are healthy. Believe me, they are. But too much fruit will definitely put weight on you. You said you have an app, but are you tracking your calories? So you should be set at calories. For example, I'm eating 2,100 calories a day. So how many calories do you eat a day? Every day. And then Jeff H says, are you trying to say we can't surprise our tasty McDonald's, supersize our McDonald's order?
Jeff, you can supersize that protein shake. There you go.
So there's a time and a place for everything, Jeff. I'm going to leave it at that. All right. He says, oh, okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So James and I were doing a ton of junk volume. I mean, part of it, back then is we had just started dating, so we just loved hanging out at the gym together anyway. But, junk volume definitely doesn't help bring up your lagging body parts. All right, HCT for real said, and when I do eat a lot, I work it all off. All right. GB92.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. So this is my pollen blocker right here. It's allergy season, and I try to grow this thing big to block the pollen from getting in my nose.
Do you guys think that's like a thing? Like, I'm not sure. Like if anything, like don't trim the nose hairs, and that might work. Like, I don't know. I want to hear from you guys. Yeah. Does the pollen blocker actually work?
Anybody got any evidence on that? Jeff, I don't eat fast food either, and I can't remember last time I saw Camille eat fast food. It's basically junk, so you're best off avoiding it.
Yeah.
Angel said, I've been lifting heavier. Man, can you read that?
I've been lifting heavier, not just strength, but to build muscle a little faster, only targeting the bigger muscles. What's your thoughts?
Fantastic. And like Camille said earlier, you might get stronger. It might even be a couple months before the size comes. But if you're getting stronger and lifting heavier, the size is going to come. It might take a month or two, but it's going to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of volume management, if you do an extra 2, maybe even 4 extra quality sets a week for that area, that's really going to help. But the key word's quality. It's got to be quality. It's got to be those breakthrough, those painful, grueling sets that we talk about. Anna Frank and off-brand Foray Crane. I don't know what that means. With the skull emoji.
What do you mean, Anthony? We don't know what that means, brother.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So let's go into like some case studies or give you actual examples. They are the strongest people. Oh,
gotcha.
All right. Couple, basically.
Strong couple. Nice. They powerlifters, strong man. CrossFitters, bodybuilders. Just curious.
Yeah. I'm not tracking them. All right.
I have to look them up.
So let's do case study 1. We've been talking about, well, actually, I want to hear from you guys listening. What is a lagging body part that you have that you've been trying to build up? So you guys type that in. In the meantime, we'll talk about a case study here. So case study number 1. Hey, how do I fix my lagging chest? Middle part. Aline said I add 3 to 5 reps.
Okay, so extend the set.
Yeah.
What's that one say?
Middle part. And I'm not sure what body part is that, Anthony? Aileen said calves. I can't even lift up a marshmallow. Can you help me? All right. Well, hey, let's do a case study on calves.
Calves can be extremely stubborn, y'all. I've seen guys work the calves like crazy for years, and they're just stubborn muscle. The best tip I can give you is go heavy.
Yeah, but when I think of calves, a lot of people will do a whole nasty leg day. They will do squats, deadlifts, all of these things.
And save the calves for last.
And they save the calves for last, and it's just one exercise, 3 to 4 sets, whatever. And then they're like, hey, I'm good. I'm not gonna, do calves or more calves. But if calves are your lagging body part,
start with it.
Start with calves, and definitely you're going to need to do more than one exercise. Like, there are different parts to the calves, and you want to apply all those same intensifying techniques to the calves.
Yes.
Angel
says hamstrings, triceps, and rear delts. Rear delts are missing on a lot of people.
For sure.
Anthony says, my ankle, I roll all the time. Not good, brother. Not good. Yeah. I used to when I played sports, but not anymore.
For sure, that's hard. I will start with calves 3 times a week.
Nice.
One of the things I think too with calves is like James said, one, you got to go heavy because you're lugging your weight around all day long.
Heavy.
But 2, people don't often think about those intensifying techniques that they do for every other lagging body part. So if you actually have not done a drop set for your calves, I encourage you this week to go ahead and hit a drop set on calves. It should give you goosebumps everywhere because it is so nasty.
Big T's on. Welcome back, Big T. Bam!
You're funny, Anthony. You're funny. Hey, let's talk about the rear delts, because we said that is a lagging body part for a lot of people.
Yep.
So what would you recommend? Like, what's the problem with the rear delts? In your opinion?
Neglected. Most of the time it's neglected. Nobody does any rear delt exercises, so it's a neglected muscle.
I think another part of the problem is the position that you have to often be in for the rear delts. A lot of people try to target rear delt training with dumbbells alone and bent over. I have found that doing a chest supported or head supported rear delt fly, if you're going to use dumbbells, is really effective. But probably even more effective is some type of cable or machine for the rear delt specifically.
Yeah, Aileen beat you to it. A lot of people, most people don't feel the rear delts. There's no mind to muscle connection. That is a hard one to connect to. Great point, Aileen, and that's pretty much what Camille just said as well. Maybe switching to the cables, you can feel a little bit more the rear delt moving. Try face pulls. If you don't feel the raises or the crucifix with the cable, try face pulls.
Right. You can also try unilateral. So sometimes I'll set up the cables and do kind of like a crossbody single arm like that, where you're kind of coming across and you're really in that stretched position, which forces you to activate that rear delt in order to get the arm back across.
Angel says lying face pulls work for me. Outstanding.
Nice.
You've done them before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big T, what's the topic about? I just got on. Weak body parts. What's your weak body part, Big T? What are you trying to bring up? I know it ain't your legs, man.
Yeah, we're talking about targeted growth, Terrence.
Oh, use the band for the reverse fly. That might help too. Yeah, help with the mind to muscle connection.
Aileen, that's actually a really great muscle activation exercise. Like, you could do banded pull-aparts where you take a loop band or a resistance band and you just kind of warm up with that. But again, I would, for the rear delts, start with the rear delts. Like a lot of people are doing, shoulder press. They'll go right into like side raises, but I would start with the rear delts and really fatigue those out first.
Yes, and when you start with rear delts on your shoulder workout, you pre-exhaust them. So now when you go into your compound moves, your rear delts are already pre-exhausted.
Yeah. I make people use band reverse flies. Yup, 3 times, 40 reps. Whoo, baby, those rear delts will be burning, that's for sure.
You're getting muscle activation, what you're getting right there.
Yeah, for sure. We could talk about fast arm growth. My recommendation there is to probably hit your arms twice per cycle, like we were saying. So maybe not necessarily twice per week, but you want to hit them twice before you hit the other body parts again. And with arms specifically, training in the stretched position, whether it's like a stretched out preacher curl or a tricep extension with a mid pull line, training in that stretched position really helps get those fast gains for sure.
Angel's got a great question, baby. Do gorilla raises help the rear delts? Yes, they do. Great question, my man. Gorilla raise is a compound move for shoulders. It hits all three heads. But if you shift your elbows back while you're doing the gorilla raise, that's a lot of rear delt.
Just be careful your traps don't try to take over.
Yes.
Because that's very easy for the traps to take over.
And do rear delts on shoulder day and back day.
Yeah, so Aline, sometimes I'll add in some face pulls or something to my back day, or I'll do overhand grip wide type of bent over rows because it targets a lot of rear delts.
Yes, if you have lagging rear delts, I would absolutely throw a set or two on back day. That's a great idea and great advice as long as it doesn't interfere with your shoulder day.
Yep. And what I would typically do is I would add the extra stuff on back, like I would keep the shoulder day before the back day where I added that in. That's how I would do that. But yeah, all really great examples there. So yeah, I mean, I love all of the suggestions there. What else? What else are lagging body parts for you guys? Let's talk about that.
For me, it's legs. You know, I've been top heavy my whole life. I still am. I have legs, but they're nowhere near big enough. And I keep hammering them with supersets, sandwich sets now. And, you know, I'm a little bit older, so we got to deal with tweaks, injuries, and whatnot. You know, I'm not going to complain, but I've been dealing with some stuff here the last couple of weeks. If anything comes of it, I'll let y'all know. But if it's nothing, I'm not going to let y'all know what it is. It's just tweaks. Getting old and tweaks, man.
Yeah. Same with me on the legs. Like for the last 4 years, I've been hammering legs. I've not only gone a lot heavy, I do a lot more volume on leg day. So I started doing 15 to 20 reps on my, big compound exercises. Whereas before I was still targeting, that 6 to 12, but I feel like legs is a different animal. It takes a little more volume to create the damage and the fatigue.
Yes.
So I think that that's going to make a big difference.
Yes, keep in mind, all the studies come back 20 plus reps are better for legs. So higher reps for legs. Everything else, 6 to 10, 6 to 12. Legs, 20.
Yeah. Shoulders are like a hard one for me. I've been trying to grow them, but I've got shoulder tweaks and injuries, from way back when. And so it just doesn't feel good. As I start to crank up that intensity, my body starts to tell me, hey, like, what are you doing, dummy? This hurts.
Yeah,
so.
same with my leg training. I like to squat and deadlift very heavy, and I haven't been able to for probably a month now. So tweaks and getting old, you got to deal with it, but it ain't stopping me, just working around it. All right, Big T says, don't need to train legs. Mutt big enough. You got it, baby. Can you read that, Eileen?
Eileen says, I train legs 2 different days, front quads and back hamstrings, so I can go heavy both days.
Nice. A lot of people split up their quads and hammies. That's good advice as well.
Yeah. Angel says, do you do pause raises on leg extension or just hammer them? I do both. That is nasty, Angel.
We do the perfect rep. So, 2 seconds up, hold for a second, 3 seconds down. If that's what you mean, yes. But if you're holding it for longer than a second, no, I'm not doing that. Not right now, anyway.
Yeah, that's nasty. I'd have to probably lighten my weight quite a bit to be able to do, the contraction like that.
Yes, and that's a rest pause, and that's nasty, man. Oof.
I like it, though. I like the intensity, Angel.
It is, and you're holding at peak contraction on the leg extension, means you're going to burn up real quick.
Yeah, I definitely, like I've been saying, hold for a second in the stretched position. So as I come back down, I hold, but I don't let the weights click, right? So if you hear that weight plate hit the other plate, because that means you completely unloaded your quads and you want to keep load on the quads. So come down, pause, but don't let the weights click.
Yeah.
You try sprinting ever?
Oh, man.
To see those sprinter quads. So James got a story for you guys on
Aileen, go to the community and scroll down. You can see the picture of my torn hamstring from running sprints. When was that? About 6 months ago? About 6 months ago, I tore my hamstring running sprints.
He was running, running, running. Everything was feeling good.
There is a picture of it on the community somewhere. If you want to look, scroll down, you can see big, nasty bruise in the back of my leg. Yes, sprints are great. You know, they're explosive. They're type 2 fast twitch fibers, which grow faster. So sprinters do have very good legs. And you could add sprinting in if you like. Just be very careful, especially if you're a little bit older like me. Do not tear your hamstring. That hurts. That once again, I couldn't train legs the way I wanted to for a couple of months. But here we go.
Angel says cyclists have big legs.
Yep, same thing.
Yeah, in fact, we had a competitive athlete, Daniel. This guy was always like on the stationary bike doing his cardio, and we were like, "Why do you always do stationary bike?" And he's like, "I'm trying to build these big wheels." So there's definitely like a little connection there.
So also, I've trained 2 hockey players over my fitness career here, and they both had the best legs out of anybody. So any hockey player out there has some massive legs. If you have the time and you want to put it in, go ahead and go ice skating. We'll blow your legs up. All right, what's Big T say?
How can you develop more striations in the muscles?
Well, you can't, but you can lean down, and that'll make the striations come out. You know, if you're not lean enough, you're not going to see any striations.
Oh, sure.
Striations is when your muscles separate. You can see the lines. That's a striation.
All right.
So you can't really make them. I mean, the more bigger muscles you have, the more they're going to separate, but you'll never see it. Just like abs, you're never going to see them unless you're lean enough.
For sure. I mean, muscle separation, you can for sure see if you get that beach-like physique, you should start to see separation between the different muscle groups. Striations are even deeper. So you're talking about a competitive athlete at that point, because it's pretty painful to diet down to where you're seeing all of that feathering through the chest and the quads and all that.
You beat me to it. It's the horizontal muscles I was talking about in your chest. When you see a guy that's got lines coming across his chest, when he's not even flexing, that's striated, that's lean.
For sure. Angel says, do you prefer deep squats or parallel?
I go deep, she goes parallel.
Angel, I can't go deeper than parallel, or I cannot get back up, and that would defeat the whole purpose of training.
So this is a great example of how, you know, one size did not fit all. If she goes into the hole all the way down, it hurts her knees. If I go parallel, it hurts my knees. If I go all the way down the hole, it doesn't hurt my knees.
Crazy.
So it's the exact opposite, and it just has to do with your range of motion and your flexibility and how your body works.
Yeah, Aline is right. It is a lot to do with ankle mobility, hip mobility. Some people, it's like thoracic mobility too in there with how they have to be cranked back. But for sure, I've rolled a ton of ankles, so that is part of the issue. But it's really my knees. Like, I've got partial tears in the meniscus. My knee tendons and muscles are tight, so they don't like to bend that way. And long femur.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, those are kind of just some of our big tips. You know, it's about training smarter, you guys. It's about focusing those techniques and being more strategic with the programming.
I do not use plates under my heels when I squat. I use a flat shoe so that my heel is on the ground. And once again, like Aileen said, I don't have ankle mobility problems. I got very flexible ankles, so my heel is on the ground while I'm all the way down in that bucket.
Yeah, so Angel, I've definitely done heel elevated squats before. It helps you get more range. So if you do have issues like me where you can't get in the bucket, using a squat wedge or standing your heels on some plates can help for sure. And Aileen, we haven't seen you in a while, but yes, we've been doing the baking soda thing.
I gotta tell you, Aileen, I'm hooked, man. I'm a big fan of baking soda now. It's been, what, a month?
Yeah, it's been about a month.
Probably about a month. I've been doing it every morning. My gut health is so much better. I'm using the bathroom so much better. That might be TMI, but it's working the gut health like crazy, and I'm going to keep doing it because I can feel a difference, and it's working, and it's making me feel better.
Yeah, for sure.
It works.
Yeah. I'm still like on the fence about the training part.
Oh, yeah, I still burn like crazy. So I'm not sure it's working on that part, but the
everything
gut
else.
health, absolutely. I mean, not to give you too much information, but half hour after I drink that Baking soda, boy, that bathroom's coming. That bathroom is coming, baby. And it's great.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for following up on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys can always, as we drop videos throughout the weeks, if there's body parts that are bugging you or you're feeling stuck, definitely drop us a comment and we'll get back to you on some tips for there.
Thank you, Angel. I appreciate that, brother. I've been working on a lot lately. All right, I'll tell you, I started doing straight leg deadlifts about a month ago, but I tweaked my back twice so far. Not doing the deadlifts, by the way. Yesterday, I tweaked my back washing my face, bending over washing my face in the sink. And yes, it hurts very badly. And yes, it is tweaked very badly. But the hamstrings have been growing. I think they have been too. And I think it's because I added in those straight leg deads.
So a lot of times I feel like maybe the tweak actually does happen in the gym and it's just, everything's tight and
perhaps,
something random happens. But yeah, it certainly feels like that some days where you're like, I picked up this napkin off the floor, threw out my back. So yeah, hopefully that gets better for you in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and once again, sandwich sets. So leg curls, straight leg deads, and then back to the leg curls. And I believe the hammies have been blown up.
We are old, Aileen. Yes. We are old.
Unfortunately, you are correct, Aileen. I mean, it's not unfortunate because the alternative is death. So yes, we are old. We are getting old, and like I just said, I'm going to have to train, and I've been training differently because of tweaks, because I'm old. Big T, old age is catching up.
And Aileen says, me too, yep. 54.
You're right there with us, Aileen. You're right there with us, baby.
For sure.
You know about it too, brother. Good stuff.
So yeah, hit us throughout the week. Definitely reach out to us on other platforms. We'd love to see your guys' progress too. So
absolutely. Post pictures, send pictures. We'd love to see you guys. We would love to see your progress, my man.
For sure, for sure.
All of you. Male, female, whoever's watching, we'd love to see your progress. That stuff's motivating. It's great. It's fantastic.
Keeps us motivated too.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And we're here to help. If we're helping, we want to see your progress, and it will motivate us, believe me.
For sure. Well, all right, guys. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties. Try on Facebook, but won't let me.
You on 88's Facebook, or you on James Houston or Camille Houston Facebook? 88 Facebook ain't that great. Find James or Camille on Facebook.
Instagram's a little more friendly too. And if you guys have Instagram.
Instagram's definitely better.
Would you ever do a rate my physique? Yeah, Angel, sure.
I don't know about rate your physique, but I will assess it.
Yeah, we'll give you some feedback and what we think. You just have to send us pictures through DM somewhere.
Yeah, try out either James Houston Facebook or Camille Facebook if you want to get an answer. 88 isn't monitored, unfortunately, very much. Big T.
The chest workout videos you put up recently have been helpful.
Outstanding, buddy. I did, the major pec minor workout, and that is a great workout. My chest was on fire for 3 days after that. It was a fantastic one. Appreciate that, Big T.
Aileen said okay.
And Instagram is even better if you can find it.
Yeah, Instagram's the most user-friendly way to interact back and forth with us. So all right, yeah, if you guys are kind of sick of struggling with those stubborn muscle groups and they just won't grow.
Sandwich sets.
Definitely think about some of the things that we talked about today. So pick exercises that actually work the muscle that you're trying to increase.
Yes.
Specifically pick exercises that run in the direction that you want the muscles to grow in. Be strategic about those intensifying techniques. And keep the intensity up. Lift heavy.
Sandwich sets.
Angel says, keep lifting, keep living, keep laughing. I love that.
I love it.
And Native Grit will have to watch later.
We appreciate you watching later, Native Grit, and apologize everybody again about the technical difficulties earlier on. We don't know what happened. Maybe the wind blew the Wi-Fi out. Who knows? But we adjusted and we finished up on the phone here. Thank you again.